Thank you all. Thank you all for coming on. I'm always excited about this, Zoom conferences, to bring information to the community. And today's subject is preparing, we call it a seller's workshop. And we're going to talk a little bit about, when we're considering selling our home in the future, what are the things we need to do? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So again, let's get started. Awesome. I'm going to put a slide on. And normally when we do our Zoom seminar, we do a raffle at the end. Unfortunately, today we have a lot more events going on. We have the women convention going on at the Long Beach Convention Center. So everybody that comes on this Zoom will put your name down and we'll do a raffle, and it's going to be a giveaway of Universal Studio tickets later on this evening. So trust me, your name will be in that raffle. So you may get a call later on, okay? Let's see. Awesome. So our workshop today is preparing the home for the market and the things we need to know about that. Let's get started with it. My name is Gary Nix. I'm a broker associate with Keller Williams. I've been doing it for 15 years. Been blessed to be in over 500 transactions in helping people, increase their wealth in real estate. Really increase their wealth totally, because I believe real estate is a place where we build wealth. So let's talk about our host today, as Miss Tonight. Michelle, are you on the line? Yes, you are. Okay. I think you're on mute.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, everyone. I actually recognize one person on here. I don't know if you remember me, Ron Beatty. Nice to see you on here. But I've been in the real estate industry since 2007. I started as a mortgage loan officer, actually. Also had my real estate license. And even though I had a huge drive for real estate, it was based on design solely and architecture. That was always my love. I've always considered myself somewhat of an artist. So I actually was introduced to a staging company through a seminar I had attended. And after the seminar, I was like, this is exactly what I need to do. This is me. This is everything and every reason why I'm in real estate. And even before that, what was so funny is that I would help real estate agents. I was a loan officer, so we want to get your business. So we would want to sit on the open houses with you guys. And I would say, hey, let me help you spruce up your listing really quickly. I would add an extra incentive instead of just doing mortgages. And so I would go in, and even right before the open house, and I would move some things around. I would even sweep up if I needed to, just to kind of get it ready and right so that it could showcase what little I had at the time, of course, not having a business. So in 2011, I decided to what I call retire and start my staging business. And I did take some classes and quite a bit of different like staging classes, design classes, also took entrepreneurial classes and things like that. And ever since 2011, I've been doing this. I love it. I started in Los Angeles County only, but I started meeting investors and people and different real estate agents. So now we cover Los Angeles, Orange County, San Bernardino County, and we've done over 450 homes. Both we do design and staging. Staging is our bread and butter, but we do design as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you for sharing. So you all know you are in for a treat. So I'm going to start with kind of sharing some insight, and then I'm going to turn it over to Rochelle, and she's going to give us a presentation on what it means to have the house ready and all that stuff. So let's get started. Preparing our home for the market. Again, it could be something today, it could be 2 years from today, it could be, but if you're thinking about it, it's really what we want you to, have in mind. And, I was talking to a gentleman yesterday. I don't know if he's on the line. Norris, And he actually gave me input like, you know what, it's not just for the sellers, it's actually also for the buyers. So that when you're looking at buying, a property, look beyond the today aspect of buying the property and look at what the property has to offer for you and see what you can do in the future with that property. So if it's not done right, well, what can you do to make it right? So we'll look at those perspectives too. So things to consider in selling your home, right? You want to put your home in the market. You're thinking about it. What do you want to do with the home? Because at the very hand, your home is your investment. Most people forget about that. They just think of a home. Look at it as an investment, and whatever investment, you want a good return on that investment, right? So what do you need to do with it? So you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. When people walk into the home, they get a perspective of their home right when they walk in. And we want to make sure at all times, when you're considering selling, you give that right impression that's going to make, and basically buyers buy with emotions, right? They fall in love with a place, they fall in love with the kitchen, they fall in love. It could be even the front yard, like, oh, I love this thing. And then, they're ready to make the right kind of offer, for you on that property. So, things to know that home in great condition attract more interest and offers and tend to sell for more than what the market even allow. So if the home looks good, the buyers fall in love with it, they are willing to spend more money on it than one that does not look good. I had a really good, I remember I was walking through a neighborhood and I met this older lady, and she was like, Gary, how does my house look like? I said, your house looks, original. And she's got this big tree that you can barely see the house, in front of the yard. And I said, well, you might want to consider just taking this tree off. It's going to make your house come up more. And every time I drive on the neighborhood, she was not looking to sell. She said she's going to, die in the house or whatever. But every time I drive by, I always look at that tree. And eventually she called me up and said, Gary, do you know anybody that can let me take the tree off? And I referred her, a gardener, and they took the tree off. And oh my gosh, that house looked completely different driving down the street. It really looks completely different. And so those are the things we want to be aware of. Okay. So staging make all the difference. And Rochelle is going to talk more about this. I just want to point out, your staging it makes all the difference in the look of the home. And how do you do that? Number one, simple thing you can do is decluttering and improving on general cleanliness and condition of the home. How does it smell like? How does it feel like? When you're walking people through a property, a buyer is walking through the property, you don't want them to see, you're living in the property, right? You live, we're living our place and we put stuff in, we buy more stuff. That's great. But once you start saying, or thinking about bringing people in, stop living in it and start decluttering to make the place look good. You guys see the two pictures right here, one that's cluttered and one that's open up. It just look much more inviting. And when a seller stages their home, one of two things will happen. The home become more valuable than other comparable properties in the price range. And then more buyers become interested, which offers allow to sell faster and create a bidding war situation. And that's where you want. If more people are looking at that property, you're likely to get more value, for it. Okay. Okay. Stand out from the crowd. That's the key. If you have a few homes in your area and yours look really good, guess what? Everybody is going to be eyeing your property. right? And, you know, making the impression starts from the front. You know, it's really from the front. How the front of the house look like make a huge difference. Uh, you know, I had one property that, you know, again, they've been living in there for a long time, and they have, you know, the front yard was just really on the messy side. And before we put it up, I encouraged the seller, like, you know, can we just do a little landscape? Like, well, I don't know if I have a budget for that. And we have a program where we can help, you know, sellers. And when we put the grass in there, it's like, oh my God, I didn't know my front looked like this. I said, well, this is a difference from your house getting, I think we sold it for close to $1 million to, you know, selling for under 800,000. Because the inside is not bad, just a little decluttering that needs to be done. But we spent like $4,000 to put grass and cut the place up, and it now looks like the $1 million home potentially that they could get for the home. So it makes a huge difference when people come. And then, you know, sometimes people sell their home and they want to leave their car, especially old car that's not, you know, working. They want to leave it in the front. It's just not a good taste. Again, don't live in it if you're considering selling it. You know, take yourself away from it so the buyer can see more and the beauty in the home. You know, so I always make it a rule of thumb that no, I'm not gonna take a picture with a car on it. If you have to get AAA to move that car outside, take the picture and then move it back in, we'll do that. But you know, you definitely don't want to market it with the cars parked all in there. Okay, so inside the home, observe that it is tidy, odor-free. If you have a pet, you love your pet, you know, a pet is a pet, you know, your dog, your cat. But once you're considering, you know, having somebody look at it, don't let them live with the odor that you may be able to live with, right? Sometimes we love our four-legged friends so much that it doesn't matter what they do, you know, they are family. That's great. However, once we are considering putting it out, you want to take that attachment out and have the buyer look at the home and fall in love with it, and not be moved the other way around, right? Okay. So throughout the house, make more of, you know, make note of any areas that need painting or repair, and, you know, little handyman, you know, a cabinet that's not closing, you know, just to fix them up. A lot of this, sometimes a handyman can come for $200 for the day and putting all this thing together. A lot of us, all of a sudden, your house is taken away from a fixer to a livable home. And that's what we want. We want the house to be more livable and not people to feel like they have to spend a whole lot of money. It's so funny how people can think a little thing was going to cost them so much money. And here's the truth. It's what we live in that we find out. I remember we bought a house in Redondo a long time ago. And in the front yard, you know, it's got 2 trees in front of it. And when I bought it and I took the trees out, you know, my neighbor was like, oh, thank you so much. We don't know this house can look like this, you know. And here's the thing, the house had a big old lawn, and I'm thinking it's gonna cost me so much to set up the sprinkler on the lawn, because at that time I wasn't in real estate. So I just assumed it's gonna cost so much. And it was like 5 years down in, I living in the house that I actually went to the backyard, and I just happened, and I had a big old backyard too. And I just happened to see this sprinkler thing, and I just turned it on, and holy moly, the whole thing came on. So there was actually a sprinkler in there, but because I didn't want to cover any expenses, I didn't do anything on it. And then I called somebody to come take a look at the front. It cost me like $350 for them to fix the broken stuff. And I have a live sprinkler system. Wow, for 5 years. So information is really big in understanding that some of these things that we think cost a whole lot, they don't. And it's just getting information on them to know that it can be done. All right. So we wanted to make sure the buyer, no matter how we love ourselves, we love our family, again, that's noted. You live in your house and you deal with your house the way you want to deal with it. But once you're thinking about inviting people in, I'm gonna respectfully ask that we remove ourselves. That means all of our pictures, all of our memories, we take it off, because we don't want people to live our life. We want them to imagine their life in the place, right? So we always ask that, your family album or your frames, just put it down away where it's hidden, and people can come in and then they can imagine themselves in the walls of the house, the room, the living room, whatever that may be. So something to be aware of for sure. So things to consider in this process. Again, our house is our investment, and to increase that investment, or to have that investment yield the most portfolio for us, we really need to consider some stuff. Now, colors is a big thing, right? Everybody have their favorite color. My wife loves red, and I'm probably sure that's why I'm married to her, because I love red. Or maybe she's put that red into my mind. I love it so much. Everything that has red. My favorite team, Clippers, they are a red and white team, right? I work with Keller Williams. We have red logo, so it's everything red. In my house, it's red like literally everywhere. But and that's what people are. Sometimes people love green. Sometimes they love yellow. Sometimes they love blue. Whatever that color is, you love it because that's who you are. Now, what you have to look at is, what is a color that everybody can deal with, right? We have to look at that what color that everybody can like and can deal with it. And that's why, you always want to use a more neutral color. White works well for everybody because it's like a base color that people can, adapt themselves into, right? But if you put red and somebody else don't like red, you just lost that potential, buyer. And you put yellow and somebody else don't like yellow, you just lost that person. So it's looking at a neutral, a light gray or a light beige color. It's a neutral color that people can stand to, and then they can say, okay, this is the base color. Now I can come in, I want to change this room. You have some people that love pink, right? They love a pink color in their house. They may even make the outside, a pink house. But not everybody's gonna like that. You got a Marshall guy and he's like, no, I don't want no pink, So we want something where everybody can start from, not so much just what we like to put in before them. Okay. And then again, Rochelle will be doing a presentation. I'm just giving a little bit of clue as to what we want. One of the areas people fall in love with in a home is the kitchen, as we all know, right? I'm not gonna say women because anybody can be a cook. I have a friend that's a chef, and he cooks, for the whole family, and he has a huge family too. And it's the chef that does everything. So everybody, love their kitchen, where they can be at. So if you can make it sometimes it can be small and petite, but it's still very inviting, right? There's so many ways. It doesn't matter where the structure of the kitchen is. If you can make it beautiful, you will get more value to your home, because that's where people are going to come in and say, hey, and again, if you look at some of this kitchen, the one to your bottom right, you don't want it to be cluttered up. You want it to be inviting. Don't live in it. Even though you love cooking and you love where you put all your utensils and your stuff that you use for cooking, take them away, when you're looking to sell the place. Bathroom is the second place that people, want to fall in love with, because again, we all use the bathroom every morning, every evening, right? And throughout the day. So again, can we make it pleasing enough that when people come in, they feel great about it? Awesome. Again, green may be your color, but is that going to be workable when you're trying to get people into it, right? And then the bedroom, same kind type of thing. Again, I'm not going to take too much on this. You know what? I'm actually going to stop my share and let my co-presenter, because she's the expert on this stuff, let her take over from here. Wendy, can you? Okay, she can share. All right, awesome.
Hello, everybody. Let's see. Is it allowing me to share? Gary, I don't know if you know, but you just did my whole presentation. So I hope I don't bore you guys. He literally my entire presentation. Okay. You can't see my screen, can you?
Yeah, we can
see your screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Good. Okay. So I guess this is here. Okay. So, like I said, he pretty much just did my presentation, but hopefully I won't bore you guys.
Yeah, no.
Again, I'm with LA Home Staging and Design. And this is just some information. I'm not sure why it's not letting me try to record it here. Okay, so basically who we are, I kind of went over that. I've been in the business since 2011. And basically what I like to tell people is that we create desired moods and intentions with each project. And the whole point of this is attributes of the space. So that
Michelle, is there any reason why you're echoing right now? Are you have two different things going on?
No, I'm not sure why. It's echoing, huh?
Okay, now you're clear. Good.
Okay, I'm not sure why I was echoing. So basically, like I was explaining, just kind of telling you what we do. Staging is specific. It's a specific intention. It's not design. And each project is different. Each space is different, whether the person lives in the home or if it's vacant. It's just to accentuate the best attributes of the space so that you allow the buyers that you're bringing in to see what their lives would be like. So I like to, when I explain that to people, my way of explaining it is more so like a hotel. When you go into a hotel and you're going to stay there for a day, a night or two, you might be alone, you might be with your family, but either way, when you walk into the space, if it feels like it's someone else's space, you won't be comfortable. Hotels make it neutral enough, crisp enough, bright enough, so that when you come in, you can feel like it's your space for the night. And that's exactly what we want to tell the potential buyer when they walk into the space. So the way a seller lives in their home and the way you are going to sell and market their house, it's totally different. And like I explained to you, staging is not decorating. So like Gary mentioned, it's not about a specific color. It's not about a specific design. Someone may love lace. Someone may love flowers. Someone may love green. Someone may love yellow. That has nothing to do with staging. Staging is, like I said, thinking hotel, gorgeous, upscale hotel for the night. So we want to focus on decluttering, like he mentioned. I always tell people no more than 1 or 2 appliances on the kitchen sink, no toiletries on the bathroom sinks, no toiletries in the shower. I even suggest buying a caddy. I actually, I shoot over caddies to clients, like links to Amazon. There was like one for $12.99. It was two for the price. So if there's a couple people in the home, purchase some caddies so you can keep everything that you use and just stick it under the sink. So depersonalizing is very important, taking all family photos. Another example I'd like to give is when I was a little girl, you can't just walk into your parents' room. You can't just bust into your parents' room and just go right in. It was their space. So you would knock on the door, you would, make sure that it was okay to come in. And when a client or potential buyer walks in a space and there's artwork here or even religious artifacts there, or even collections, some people collect different types of artwork or different types of decor pieces and it's just all over the space. When it screams that it's someone else's space, your buyer doesn't feel comfortable walking in. So they're going to hesitate. In the master bedroom, they're going to peep in the room, but they're not going to walk in the room. And if they're not walking in the room, they're not buying that house. So whether the house is vacant or occupied, we need to arrange the furniture and accessories so that it creates the best flow. So when we stage, or even if it's with the client's pieces, because we can do that as well, or with all new pieces that we bring in from our warehouse, we arrange it so that it is spaced correctly. I even consider photography, so should you. So from this angle, what do I see? So if a piece of artwork on this side and nothing over here, when you're taking an angle, it's going to be off balance. It seems like nothing, but when you're looking at this picture here that I have on the screen, if you look at the angle, everything is balanced. If you notice, and you probably don't even see it, but as far as the detail goes, but there is a light fixture on the left and somewhat of, even though it's a mirror, artwork on the right. So there is a balance in that room. So from every angle, there needs to be balance and symmetry. And that's what staging offers, is that balance and symmetry, so that when a person is looking at, whether it's a photo, which is very important, everything is on the internet, as well as walking into the space, everything feels just right. But when there are things that are off, they don't know why. They're not going to say, oh, we needed a light fixture on the left side. That's not going to cross a person's mind. But what they are going to feel is something's off about the space. So that's another portion of why it's so important to stage is balance and symmetry, not only just color, not only just what the pieces look like, but actually balance and symmetry. Okay. And like I said, when you list a house for sale, it's a product. And just like any other product, like Gary mentioned, it has to stand out amongst all the other listings. It's just as if I've even done surveys. When I was younger in the mall, they'd come up, do you want to do a survey? And you get something. And they ask you what product brand looks better. And they'll show you a bottle that looks like this and a bottle looks like that, same brand. And they want to know which one looks better to you. And that's the same thing with a house. It needs to stand out. Someone needs to feel like when they're looking online or driving past and they've seen these for sale signs, or they see these pictures online, that, oh, look at this one. I like this branding better. This one looks really good. I definitely want to see that. And that's the same thing with anything, even with purchasing a car. When you purchase a car, you go in, or when you're selling a car, I want to say a used car, you detail the car. You might even wax the car. You have it vacuumed. You wipe the seats down. You armor all the tires. You might even put a new steering wheel cover on it. You do everything you can to make that car look as great as possible. So when they come to see the car, they're going to give you that price. They're going to give you that price you're asking. And as far as real estate goes, which is a lot more important than purchasing a car, they're going to go over that price. Like Gary said, even outside of what that area will allow. And just so you know, this is a tidbit of fact, that it takes a buyer on average only 3 to 6 minutes to walk through that entire house. Just 3 to 6 minutes. You have to make those minutes count. Otherwise, it was for nothing.
Standard, sorry. It doesn't show your screen. The thing that we see is the word.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh,
and
you
the
don't
link.
see
The PowerPoint or the presentation.
Oh, you don't see it. You know what? Did you invite me to be a host? Let me see.
Yes.
Is that working? I don't think you invited me to be a host, did you?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, we're just looking at what, there we go.
There.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Well, I'll show you that I was talking about earlier with the lights. I'm sorry. So I wanted you to see this picture. How I said the light is on the left and the artwork or mirror is on the right. And that entire picture is balanced. Nothing feels off balance. I just wanted to go back to that slide because I was referencing the picture. And then, of course, just going over, like we said, the whole objective of staging is obviously to maximize the value of the home's characteristics and best attributes, and then to minimize the impacts of the home's shortcomings. Every house has some sort of shortcoming. Sometimes the floors are off a little bit. Sometimes there might be some issues going on with the ceiling. There could be issues going on with just, maybe a little dated in this area. Like there's just a pink tile in the bathroom, things like that. And the homeowner may not be able to afford to change the tile, let's just say. But in a situation like that, a fresh coat of paint would change it. Even though the tile is pink everywhere or the yellows everywhere, if you did a color that is neutral, that is especially trending, that's something that I want to mention as well. What's trending is very important, especially now, because before we would have to look at magazines and not then moving forward, watch different shows. But now you just at a click of a touch of a finger, you're looking on Instagram, you're looking at, Houzz, you're looking at Pinterest, you're just all over the place looking at spaces. So you want to go with what's trending too. So when you're selecting colors and things like that, even when you're doing traditional homes, I always suggest doing a more traditional modern space. So with staging, you'd want to kind of bridge the gap. So I do a lot of houses in Glendale, let's just say. I do in Pasadena, and they have a lot of the older homes. They have some English Tudor homes, style homes. They have the craftsman homes. And then even in, like over there, in like View Heights, they have the mid-century modern homes. So even though they are dated, those houses, there are little things that you can do to kind of bridge the gap and bring it to today. Simple things like changing light fixtures, keeping with the style of the home, but the more modern version of traditional, and that would be like transitional. So instead of having these old school light fixtures throughout the house, you have your cellar just kind of pick a same. I like it all to be conform. I like everything to kind of match the finish as far as the finish and style, but throughout the entire house, you just make it a little bit more modern, but you do what's trending, what's going on today. So when people are looking, they've seen these spaces that they love, and when they walk into the staged house and it mimics what they've been falling in love with and seeing, constantly, then that makes them, interested. It makes them want to see the space from online all the way to actually viewing the space and falling in love with it. So what's trending is really important as far as staging at each area that you're staging in throughout the year, or each quarter that you're staging throughout the year. And it creates, staging just creates an environment that evokes emotions, and buyers buy by emotion. And every way, in anything you purchase, it's an emotional attachment, and that's why you purchase. And just statistics, we can go over that just real quick. You can see it there. I think these are really great statistics. It really kind of shows the impact that 95% of buyers search online for homes. Like I mentioned, 90% of potential buyers, they do not have the ability to envision their belongings there. I've definitely staged houses where the realtor said that they were having trouble selling because they would give me reasons. And that's why at first they tried it on the market without staging, but they kept hearing the same things from buyers. One of the things is, it sounds silly, but they have buyers ask, where would I put the TV? So when you stage a house, those questions are answered. So, it's such a difference. Like professionally staged homes will spend 73% less time on the market to those that aren't staged. That's a huge percentage. And 85% of staged homes sell for 5 to 20 to 23% over their listing price. And I personally have staged so many homes that sell way over, and they have 40 offers, 50 offers. And it's just, and a lot of those are when we do a little bit more, we paint, maybe change the paint color, change the light fixtures, change the faucets, possibly the carpet. The rest staging, we stage partial staging. We don't have to do every room. I always suggest, as far as vacant homes, you just stage the main areas. If it's 3-bedroom, you don't really have to concentrate on bedroom 2 and 3. Just stage the main areas, which is what the buyers are looking at. That's what's going to sell the house, which is living room, dining room, family room, master bedroom, of course, kitchen and bathrooms. But second and third bedroom, once they've fallen in love with the master and living, family room, the second and third bedroom is not going to make or break that sale. And just how I work, as far as staging goes, I offer complimentary consultations. Some other stagers do as well. Staging consultation is very quick. You don't even have to meet the stager there if you're not available as far as vacant properties go, or even if your homeowner is there. Sometimes I have real estate agents who don't even involve themselves in that process. They want me to take over the staging portion, and they refer me and they talk to them about me, but I meet with the client, and the client and I go from there. Sometimes the real estate agent is completely involved, so it's up to you. But we could go out and just go in with a lockbox, but it only takes us 15 to 30 minutes because we're just getting pictures and videos, maybe some measurements. I've been doing this since 2011. I don't have to take measurements. It's crazy, but I don't need to I know exactly what size dining table, exactly what size sofa, etc. So, but it is important to know what needs to go in that space and what is needed for that space. And then within 2 days, we provide a proposal to you. And the proposal is very detailed. It'll tell you living room, sofa, accent chair, coffee table. It'll tell you exactly how many pieces you're bringing in. And then it provides, the cost, of course. It is a 2-month minimum. So, and most stagers have, I don't know how many of you have used stagers, but I haven't met a stager who doesn't have a minimum. Some have a 2-month minimum, some have a 3-month minimum. But a minimum is basically, so we can pick it up at any time, which they are flying off the shelf with the staging. Staging really makes a difference. So a lot of my houses do sell that I stage prior to the 2-month. We can pick it up whenever you need, but we do have a 2-month minimum. And it is important even for you. Property's going to escrow, but you don't necessarily want to just completely get rid of all the pieces. What if something happens? And even those buyers that are in escrow, they want to go back and see the house. And if they go back and see the house and everything is gone, it may change their mood. It may change how they feel about the space. So even though it is a 2-month minimum, it makes sense for both of us. And with us, we do stage according to the style of the home. And I suggest you do the same thing. If you are going to go in and try to help the client, some sellers, they won't stage. And if they won't stage, you yourself, you should go in and try to create a custom design to their space. I know you probably don't have a bunch of inventory, but you can rearrange the space with the flow of how you feel would look best. Even when a buyer is walking through, I always tend to say, don't have a sofa. If you walk in a house, a sofa, or any room, not even just if you're walking from a hallway, a sofa you shouldn't be facing the back of a sofa. It's very uninviting. It feels closed off. The buyer won't say, oh, the sofa's in the wrong position. All they'll know is the way they felt. So if you're going to stage, I would definitely speak or not necessarily stage, but even encourage the buyer or your seller to do different things to the house. It's definitely, I would say, to make sure they stick with the style of the home, is just bring it up to date a bit, move things around so that it flows really well, and use, think of the demographics in the area as well. For instance, sometimes when you stage a foyer, when you first walk in, a lot of people have the table and the mirror. And when you first walk in, you have this, it could be a gorgeous entrance table and a mirror. Well, when I stage in Arcadia and Temple City and places like that, I don't do that because I do know that a lot of people tend over there to have an act of looking for feng shui. And feng shui says that if you put a mirror right in front of the entrance, that all the good energy is going to go right back out. So, I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but you have to consider the demographic. Even when there's areas where there's schools and parks, that someone that moves in there more than likely will have a family. So when you stage, you have to consider that there's going to be a family living in this space. And even areas where, like, I'd say like Highland Park and Echo Park and places like that, is more of an eclectic feel. So when you're over there, you stage a little bit more eclectic, a little more artsy. So you just consider the demographic of where you are, as well as the actual style of the home. And then we personally have our own inventory. We have a warehouse that has considerable numbers of staging pieces, and we stage every style of home. I've yet to not be able to stage a property, no matter what style it was here in LA. And then staging day, this is again, is more about what for us, and pretty much probably across the board stagers. It's custom design. It's not really that we have like a package. It's custom design. Each house is different. Each house we stage differently. And it takes 2 days or 2 full days to complete. And then we would ask for photography the next day. So Monday, Tuesday staging, Wednesday photography. Staging cost is a big concern for a lot of clients, a lot of realtors, even before I even know what the project is. So it is hard to tell what it's going to cost because it comes in a few different forms. You have like the delivery and pickup, and then you have the 2-month minimum, which is item rental. And that's based on the pieces that are needed for the space. And then like the services that we also offer, which I mentioned, we do paint selection, flooring selection, tile selection, counter, everything you see on this I've selected. The color for the counters, or excuse me, the cabinets, the countertops, the mirrors, everything you see, we selected just to add it to space. Even when they don't want to change the cabinet, let's just say, we'll select just the countertop, new cabinet handles there, and a new paint color, and something simple like that, and it refreshes the space, and up-to-date, more modern faucets. And that's something that we do as well. That's just an additional service, and it is paid up front. So what I wanted to do just really quickly, just to show you, and then we can move on or actually conclude. And this is what you were staring at, but these are different properties that were staged. And I just kind of want to give you an idea of the cost. We don't have to do every one of them, but all right. And this space was one that I chose the paint colors, and they just kind of refinished the floor a bit, or did a little something to the floor. This was a very old dated unit. It is Via Marisol, which is off the avenues, off the 110, kind of right by Pasadena, right by South Pasadena. The place did not look like this. I don't have before pictures, but when we went in there, the color was, it's in the area that I mentioned was more eclectic. The colors were orange and burnt orange and dark yellow and green. So this house had crazy colors throughout the whole house. Putting on the market like that is a disservice to you and your client, you know. So what we did is I told the client, this is little things we can do. Paint is one of them. Let's just change the paint. Let's just change the paint, do very good deep cleaning. So again, kind of an eclectic style. I'm gonna kind of just show you what we did to the space. A lot of times when I stage, I like to show an area like an inviting dining setting.
Rochelle?
Yes.
Okay, if you don't mind, let's take, we've got short minutes left. I want to have comments and, you know, questions.
Sure.
Come in.
And I'll just keep kind of going through.
All right, does anybody have any questions? I've kind of lost my screen, so I don't even know. Norris, I think I saw you on there. I'm just curious as to your perspective of, this conversation in terms of having a place, ready, right, or what even a buyer perspective can be, like we were talking yesterday.
Okay, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say she did a great job sharing some key points on adding value to the property right before you're selling it. I think staging is one of the probably single most excellent ways to get a big boost. I've done a little staging, but of course, just as a novice and on my own. My wife and I, when we would sell property, and we would even in the master bedroom have bubble baths. We'd have the tub overflowing, not overflowing, but we'd have the tub full of bubbles, and set up the scents. So maybe my wife would bake some cookies and place them out on the deck with some lemonade or something like that. But certainly in the area of adding value to the sale of the property, certainly staging. And I was also looking at it from the buyer's perspective. When you're buying some property, oftentimes, if you're interested in increasing the value of it, that would be an excellent time to exercise any ideas or any strategies that you might consider in terms of adding value to the property. For example, you might look at property, but specifically for something maybe that has a room over the garage, or maybe have space if later on you wanted to add RV parking, or if you know that it was an area where people had a lot of boats or something, where a recreational vehicle or something of that sort could be added to the deal. But a lot of times, if you can get a good agent, say like Jerry Nix, you could tell Jerry Nix, hey, listen, Jerry, I'm looking for a beautiful home, but I'm also looking for something that has some added value that down the line, I want to do, a workshop, or I want to do an ADU, or I want to have, like I said, a recreational vehicle or something. And that too can add value to your purchase.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Any questions? Maybe for Rochelle, or any comments you'd like to make? Okay. All right. Well, I think we still got another 10 minutes. So Rochelle, you still have some more presentation to share?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, sure. I thought that maybe I could show you, I don't know if you guys have been looking, I just kind of was going through as we were speaking, but kind of showing you some of the staging and giving you an idea what that staging costs. I thought, that a lot of times is what realtors are looking for. So that one, I don't know, did everybody get a chance to see that? I'm not sure, but if so, that cost $38.50, that full staging that we just went through. And that was more like a condo that it was, like I said, very dated, had all kinds of crazy colors, really funky looking house, but it was really eclectic. I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't for sale. It wasn't something that you would want to put on the market. So let me show you another space. And this one is in Orange County. That was Los Angeles. And this one is in Orange County. I'm just trying to show it to you and to tell you what it costs, so you kind of get an idea. And that's sold for 1.6. So 1.69 actually. And this one was also a remodel where we selected different light fixtures. We selected the fireplace tile and paint in this one. So we can help your buyers, or excuse me, I keep saying buyers, you can help your sellers with decision making. They don't have to have it all on their own. That can be something that we can assist with. And some of you guys are even really good with, design as well. And then you could also help with them as far as directions of color schemes and things like that. But it's just important to lead and guide your buyer or your sellers. So, because you know what's going on, we know what's going on. So we need to guide our sellers correctly so they can get the property marketed. Otherwise, you're really doing a disservice. This was only $28.70. So, I mean, it's not, and look at it, $28.70 and they got 1.69 million, so it's a small investment. Without this staging, their offer probably would have been lower. Without doing these small improvements, the offer would have most definitely been a lot lower. That small amount made such a difference. So staging, it's an investment, but it's an investment that gives you a huge return. As you know, I'm sure some of you have seen the price jumps these days. It goes on the market for one and it comes out on the other, and more than not, it's staged. It's a staged property. And then this one I wanted to show you then last, and this was kind of like I said, where it's an older home, a lot older, and it was charming, very charming in its own way, in its own right, but it just needed small improvements and better staging. So this person lived here, and I was able to use some of their pieces, but some of their pieces just were really dated. And the paint, again, the outside of this home came out beautifully. It was yellow. It was a really dark yellow. I want to show you. And I just lightened it up. I chose the color and the trim. So the base color and the trim. And we just lightened it up. Just simply with a different paint, coat of paint. And this person, these buyers, unfortunately, they bought the house right before the pandemic and they had it sell immediately. They were a young couple. We painted the front porch, chose the darker trim with the light base. I used the homeowner's sofa and brought in their ottoman and brought the rest of the pieces in. And just added accent pieces and colors. I mean, the house, its interior was also, the paint it was actually needed a paint job. It looked pretty bad. The colors were really, really dark. They were almost like brown. The entire house was just dark and gloomy, and which is why I brought all these bright colors in. that we used their table, but they had really the dilapidated chairs, and they had big pieces of furniture in these spaces. We took all of that out, just added some chairs, some light pieces, and opened up that space and made the dining room feel really large. And it also, with the setting of the table, makes you feel inviting, makes it feel more elegant. Everything that you're seeing just makes a person feel like the house is worth more. All these little touches makes a little setup here, very simple. This area also had all types of office equipment and things in there. I said, hey, we can't do that. We have to get rid of all of that. And we need to make this an inviting, charming home, because they're looking for top dollar. They were really down on their luck, and they really needed to get from under the house, obviously. And these rooms, like I said, we didn't stage them. We didn't stage all the rooms. That's something that they didn't want to do, and they couldn't have afforded it anyway. And it's fine, because we covered and targeted the main areas. This was the master. This was their bed. There was their headboard, and it was bolted to the wall. It's in as far as this bed. And I brought in the other pieces just to accentuate the bed and brighten it up again. It was really dark in here as well. This was there already. We changed the paint. The paint was really, really darker than the living room. It was darker in here. So we just changed the paint. I brightened it up with a brighter carpet. So all this just makes a difference. And if you're looking at this online, it looks expensive. It looks like it's worth more than they were even asking, apparently, because the buyers who bought it, they bought it, I think it was 80,000 over asking on this property. This property had so many, and look at this kitchen or bathroom, like I mentioned, it's dated, but with everything else that's going on, this is something that you could easily, in your buyer's mind, that's something they could get to, but it's still move-in ready. So I just wanted to kind of show you that one. We're done with that. This was a back office. Actually, it wasn't even an office at the time. I suggested we make it look like an office. And again, we chose the epoxy flooring because it was cemented. So we did an epoxy flooring and paint. We left the fan that was already there. I brought in more of an office setup because a lot of people are working from home, and voila, someone saw the space. And when I say my agent, Jenny Manders, she couldn't believe how many offers she had. I mean, it was just paint and brightening up the space. And then of course the staging portion. And that property sold, let me tell you how much it cost first and foremost. And that was $33.70 because remember, we used some of the client's pieces and we didn't stage all the rooms. So I would say that concludes my presentation. Unless you have any questions, I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like, what it costs, and how we work, and then why it's so important to stage. And it also makes you set apart as a real estate agent. I mean, it's, you want what you sell, it's a reflection of you, and how you sell it is a reflection of you. We're not just hustling houses. It's your career. It's who you are. It's what you do. It's what you love. And if you're going to do that, then you have to consider doing it at your best, and you making sure you put your best foot forward. And that's why it's so important that when you put something on the market, it shows your integrity as well.
All right, Rochelle, thank you very much. Really appreciate your contribution to the presentation. I hope everybody gets some stuff. Again, it's really just things to be aware of. Some people here are not looking to sell right away. But if you do decide you want to sell a home in the future, these are things to be aware of as to how you can start beginning to prepare yourself. Because when you live in the home, you live in the home and your life is in the home. But once you start thinking about bringing it on the market, is to start moving away from, okay, I love this particular color, I love this particular thing, and start thinking what is a stage of. The reason why I wanted to bring Rochelle here is to see what they look at so that, you can, of course you can make an appointment with her so that, she can do a consultation and say, okay, this is what you need to do, blah, blah. But once you start thinking about that, it's good to start steering away from my personal color, my personal design, and start looking at what's going to work for everybody or what's neutral to everybody. That's the whole purpose of this. So I want to thank you all for coming on. As you know, we do this seminar once a month, and it's to bring value to the community as to what's possible And next month, we're going to be talking about FICO score. That's a very subject that's dear to me, because a lot of people don't know that they can live the very best life by creating a great credit rating for themselves. So again, it's always about bringing value to the community, one show at a time. Thank you all for coming on. We have everybody's name. If we don't have your name, please go on the chat and put your information in there. So that way we have your number at least to call you. And if you're on Facebook, because I think we're also on Facebook Live, we have a few people on there too. Please either text me your info, your phone number, so we can call you if you do win the Universal Studio tickets, which we'll do. We'll probably do it tomorrow morning, because I have an event at the Women Convention at Long Beach to also add to that. So thank you all for coming again. We'll see you at the same time.
Question.
All right.
Yeah, listen. Let's see here. Richard, can you put your information in the text so we can have it out? Did you already do that? I didn't see it in the text.
Sure, I will.
Your contact information, or any of the any other staging companies or whatever that you can supply us with.
Well, I won't be supplying you with any other.
I know. I got you. I got that. Yeah. Just yours is fine. Yours is the only one. That is perfect.
She's a one and only stuff, baby.
Yes.
Ron, do you remember me from Consolidated Real Estate?
I certainly do. How you doing?
Good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's the information in the chat, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. You did a fantastic job. It's such an eye-opener that is so necessary. I really enjoyed it. You did it fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All righty. Okay. Okay, take care.
All right. Everybody got the information, and if you want to put your information there too, that's all good.
My phone.
Jerry, thank you so much for the invite.
All right.
Thank you so much for the invite. It was very informative and giving me a couple ideas as to how I can redirect some things or revisit.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It was an amazing presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the hope. Okay. Again, it's just, creating value to the community. We want to supply as much information, different areas. It's not all about selling real estate. It's just about getting us to think a little bit different in how we do things, right? All right. Well, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you all for coming on. I'll put on a party music, and you all can check out whenever you want to, okay?
I'll have a wonderful
Hey, thanks
week.
again, Francis.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Francis.
You're welcome.